Which set of bills would you rather have? In my left hand, I've got 10 $1 bills, and in my right hand, I've got 1,500 bucks. Now, most people would say that they want the 1,500 bucks, but today we're going to be covering 15 different errors that occurred on $1 bills that could be in your pocket change. Not all of them, but a fair amount of them could reasonably be there that are worth more than the $1,500 or at least more than $1,000. So it's always sort of crazy that there are different things that can happen to bills at the printing presses that end up making them worth so much more than their average one. I mean, most of the time, $1 is going to get you $1 in spending, and nobody's going to pay anything more than that. But today, I'm going to focus not only, we're going to skip sort of the mid-tier errors that might be worth tens or a few $100. We're going to go right to ones that are in the thousands range. So I'm so excited. I got a PowerPoint presentation, so let's get right to that and we'll start explaining. And here's going to be that first error note, and as you can see, sold for $2,760. If you don't look closely, though, you might not catch that this is a multiple printing error. So basically, the note, instead of having been passed along when they were printing sort of the second part that includes the face and all of the lettering, stays in place and moves slightly, and then it receives that second printing much more offset on the right-hand side, but that's really, really apparent in all of the lettering. Note that the third printing with like the serial number and the seals, that's separate, so that's not going to be doubled. After that, we've got a mismatched serial number, and it's on a star note, which is extra cool, but this is going to be a 067 on the one hand and a 267 on the other. Now, any mismatched serial number is going to be rare, but the star note certainly adds a little bit of extra sort of value or makes it extra rare, and it sold for $3,820 and was in really nice condition, 67 EPQ, so it was a really crisp note and caught right away. This is a very unique type of error, and it's the only one of its type that I've seen, but both of these are 1981 $1 bills, but they have the same serial number, but the plate number, this is D466 and this is D471, are different. So that's why that is a $9,200 error. If you ever have something, you might have matching serial numbers, and if it's different series, that's still going to be pretty cool. But if they're from the same series and it's the same number, normally that would say, hey, one of these is faked or counterfeited, but this is, there are different plate numbers when they were striking the coins, so quite an impressive error, and somebody paid up for it. This one is a really apparent one, and it actually circulated for a long time. Looks like it's in very fine condition, so people just didn't flip over their $1 bill, and it traveled around a bunch, but it was an obverse to reverse offset. So I believe what happens is that the ink from one side, it's not like a transfer or a wet transfer where it's not dry yet and then it comes into contact. No, what happened here is likely the one of the obverse ink got impressed and there were no notes in between, and then when the next sheet comes and gets fed through, when that is pressed back onto the reverse, the ink that should have been just on the front of the side had been sort of left on the reverse printing, and so this happens, and this becomes a $2,990 error. Then we've got a printed fold error web note. So web notes are already rare, but as you can see, somehow this part of the note would have gotten folded over, and you can see a tiny bit of the end of the serial number, the H, which does not appear on this side. It's cut off, is not impacted by that fold, but anything that would have gotten folded, it sort of takes the seal of the Fed, and it's got the 2 number and most of that left serial number. This one sold for $3,360. This one is a test note error as well, so I think that they would use a bunch of ink and sort of get it to the right amount of ink to print good-looking notes, and this should have just never been released. These types of notes are normally destroyed, but this majorly inked test note did escape the mint and sold for $3,000. So pretty impressive as well. Here is a really, really cool error. It's not going to be one you're going to find in Pocket Change, but I just had to include it It's also on a silver certificate, but basically it's a doubled offset printing of the front to the back. So not only is there one offset printing where somehow the ink gets on the back, it's been doubled, it's inverted. It's just such a cool error. You see all of the lettering is again doubled in addition to literally appearing on the back of the note. So this sold for justifiably $5,640. People really recognized that this was a rare item and paid up for it. Here we've got a 1977. This is uncirculated, but not in a graded holder. There was what's known as a gutter fold, and the paper had a mini fold, and then when it was pressed down, either it can sort of properly adjust and not fold over and flatten out if there's a little bit of a wrinkle, or it'll fold onto itself, and then you have this neat non-rectangular sheet of paper. There's also a cutting error applied where there's nothing seen on this side of the note. What would have happened, if you can see, I probably should have done the photo better, but part of this side, the reverse, folded over onto the obverse, and so it's an extra long note where the obverse is found right on the far end of the reverse. So that was a $4,715 error, sold in 2002. Here we've just got a regular misalignment, so it doesn't look so regular, but it's not quite as valuable, selling for $1,175. This one, basically the serial numbers are either in the, you get to pick which one, but the serial numbers are printed where they normally would be, but the underlying after the second printing is misaligned and well shifted to the right, resulting in a pretty cool error. And then we've got this neat obstruction and fold under for the first phase printing, where this had been folded away, and there was also an obstruction that was sort of in the way, so it doesn't receive most of its first printing and this for the obverse. But then the third printing, which again includes that Federal Reserve Bank stamp and the serial number, does properly get affixed to the note, plus it's a star note, and again this is going to be selling for $2,700 a long time ago, so it may have appreciated by now. There's also this doubled third printing. I think these are more challenging to come by, so there's different serial numbers that have been printed over each other, and that seal and the 11s here just are really bold in terms of how they appear on the note. It's sort of the inverse of that doubled second printing that I showed you towards the beginning of this video. This one sold for $3,620. There's this one, again, not going to be a pocket change find, but there was a major foldover, and the notes get affixed to one another. You can also see a light third printing up here. There's extra sort of ink and extra serial numbers that are well offset, but still are held to the note a little bit. $4,715 for this find. There's this one, a 2001 third printing missing and on back. So not only is the third printing, we saw it misaligned. This time it's on the back of the coin of the note. But the really cool thing, I think, is that there's two serials, so it's seen multiple times over here, and I believe that they're different, because let's see, 2925. This is 2925, but then the note before that is maybe 5. This sort of looks like it's a different serial number, though. Sort of in the in-between, going back a little bit. So having that two different serial numbers just makes it even more of an oddity. And again, $4,370. This one is a stuck digit, so that's always really fun, and it resulted in a mismatched serial number as well. This one's on a silver certificate, but still sold for $2,760. The stuck digit, you can tell because the digits are sort of rolling along, and in this case, you can see part of, I believe, what should be a 2 up there, the base of that 2. So both of those numbers are affixed to the note, and in addition, it clearly was not able to play catch up. This is a 548, this is a 551, so offset and really neat. And then our 15th is going to be just a wild foldover and a paper jam error. It ends up also getting cut up at some very strange angles, and the like the pieces of it that were cut are retained, so that makes it just a little bit more nice as a presentation piece. And in addition, the bookends, so here we've got 853 and then 854 is missing because that's up here. Then you move over a sheet and you got 952, 953, and then 954 as part of the jam and foldover, and then 955. So altogether, I mean, that's super, super impressive of an error. How it made it out the mint really shouldn't have happened, but I guess it did, and somebody paid a little over $1,000 for it. But that brings us to the end of these 15 error notes. There's multiple more that I have in a different presentation that I'm going to be excited to share with you maybe a few months from now, but always keep on checking that change, flipping over the bills that you get. Some of these, it's pretty clear that you're not going to find this. This one, though, circulated for a while. It's in very fine condition. Maybe you get two of the same serial numbers, or maybe you can find a mismatched one. Those are often the types that get found after a fair amount of wear, but you never know. Again, that the full face to back offset was found in change. So thanks so much, and I'll see you on some of my other videos. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. I've also got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you can follow me there. TreasuretownYT.com is the main channel website. Definitely give that a visit. I've got a lot of information about me up there and the channel. CoinGrabBag.com as well currently redirects there, but it's some good opportunities for very fair grab bags, both made by me and other sellers. A lot of different options, so that's a good way to support. There's also TreasuretownCoins.com. In the future, my coin dealing operation will be done out of that website. CoinMeltPrice.com for updates on the melt prices of your coins, both US and world. A lot of resources in that website. And then CoinsMetalsCards.com, being developed right now as a marketplace and news source for coins, metals, cards, and collectibles in general. So I'll see you on my future videos. Looking forward to seeing you there, and hope you have a good day.